morning. Well, it's afternoon now, but normally I say good morning, so I figured I would. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad that you are too. So normally I pop on early Sunday mornings, but I am in the middle of a weekend workshop course, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm enjoying it immensely, but I intended to hop on here on a break, and so here I am. I am actually currently in San Francisco. I had to think about it for a minute. I've been in so many different places recently. I had to think about it there for a moment. And I'm in this cute little studio Airbnb, hosted actually by a family, which is such a unique experience, as some of you will know, to actually live essentially with another family and learn just about how people are doing things here, which even though it's within the same country, it's still different. The environment is still different. And so the way that the people here do things is different from the way that people in North Carolina, where I live as home base, do things. So, and I love that experience. And that's just where I'm at in my journey right now, is learning and taking in other people's cultures and other people's experiences. And it is adding to my life and who I am right now. So I'm very blessed and grateful to be doing it, and ultimately to have the courage and determination to do it. And so here I am, finally in that season of my life. I just wanted to share two things this morning, as I will keep it shorter than I normally talk for, all on the theme of getting liberated so that you can live your rich life. The two things that have been coming up repeatedly over the course of this last week and have really stood out to me in the course that I'm currently in is these two parts. One is how do you know why you don't have what it is that you really want, right? And so I've talked about this over the years in many different ways, and the current way that I'm talking about it is because I use the word blocks, right? If you don't have what you want, the way that you know, like, you don't have what you want, right, is one, you look around in your circumstances, you don't see it, okay? And so then it's like, well, why don't I have what I really want? Whatever that is for you right now, right? Whether it's the finances, it's the love, it's the connection and relationships, it's a job, a different job, or feeling more purpose in your life, like whatever the thing is, again, it doesn't matter. It's always the same application to the message. So when you look around and you don't have it, then we want to know, why don't you have it, right? Of course, we all want to know, why don't I have the thing that I want? And so then the easy answer that I have to offer you is because there is something blocking you, something within your inner world that is blocking you from being able to have it, right? To see it, as I've talked about a lot, right? We see with the mind and not with our eyes. So there's something there that's blocking you from being able to see the thing, have the thing, embrace the thing, bring it to you. However you think about it right now, like apply the right words for you. I used to think about it like I couldn't bring it to me. I think about it differently now. So it's less about how, sort of the best way to describe it, but really more about what resonates for you. So we want the thing that we want. Why can't we have it? Because there's a block that's keeping you from having it. There's something there that's holding you back from being able to have it. And I'm just using those words loosely because I think it's the most commonly understood. And so getting in touch with the blocks that are keeping you from the thing you want. right? That actually becomes the most important journey, the most important work to be doing. Once you buy in, once you believe that the only reason you don't have what you want is because there is something blocking you. Now, the human part of us wants to say, oh, there's something blocking me. Well, it's this person, or it's that person, or it's that job, right? And let me tell you, I was there for so long in it's someone else's fault, or it's someone else keeping me from it, which ultimately, whether, it feels comfortable or not to you to hear, it's ultimately our way of deflecting responsibility for ourselves. It's our way of blaming something outside of ourselves, assigning responsibility or blame to someone else, right? The human part of us so wants to say, if you would only change, if you could do that differently, I would be so much happier, right? And that's totally normal, okay? So I just want you to really hear me on that. It's completely normal to do that. It's literally how we are as humans, right? Our natural tendency, right, comes up in us. And I'm saying our natural human tendency, right? Not the way we were intended to be, right? Or our divine state, but our natural tendency is to say, there is someone else blocking me from having what I want. Okay, so as you start to recognize, I am the only one blocking me, right? Then we scale it down even more to say, there's an actual block, a mental block that's happening inside of your own mind, right? Some of you, you might respond to hearing it. There's a block within your own awareness of yourself and what's possible for you. And if you're at the point where you're comfortable with the word consciousness, there's a block in your own consciousness that is literally keeping you from seeing, from having what you want. Okay, so that to me, right now, for you this morning, is where I'm going to leave that. And I see that as the single most important thing, the single most important work / place to put your efforts, right? Again, my vibe, as you know well by now, is all about getting liberated and doing things in the easiest way possible. Not because I want things to be easy, because I've worked so many years of my life doing things the hard way, right? But when I say easy, I mean easeful, simple, right? What's the easiest route from A to B? Because my old version of me would take the most complicated route from A to B. So this is the easiest way to get from A to B, is to look in between and be like, what is actually keeping me from B? And if I believe that I'm the only one who can keep me from something that I desire, right? And if you're not there yet, please reach out to me and let me know, and or share with me what's keeping you from believing that at 100% in every area of your life. And I will happily put out some content to help you with that. Okay, so if you can identify that block, well, you're now knowing this is where I need to put my attention. This is where I now need to put my effort, right? So that I can get over to here. Okay? And I'm super excited because that is freedom. Literally, it is your path to freedom, right? And for me, freedom, liberation, living a liberated life is all about having what you want, right? And having more of what you want. If you look around and you're like, yeah, my life is actually pretty good, which thank God I now can say. And because of the person that I am, and or the divine nature that is within me, I always want more amazingness, right? I'm not like, oh, I need more. No, not at all like that, because that's the hard version. Now I'm like, I want more amazingness. Who doesn't want more awesomeness in their life? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people, but that's not my vibe. And I don't think it's yours either. Otherwise, you wouldn't be following me. So it's like we want to be in the ease of things, right? And if you want more amazingness, it's available. Know that. Hear that. I believe it at 100%. There is always more amazingness to be experienced. Okay, the other thing I wanted to offer to you this morning to help you in your own journey towards liberation that has been so important for me in recent months and consistently over my journey in the last 5-6 years is to really reassess what it is you think you really want. Okay? Now, I know that can sound really basic, and you could right away in the humanness of your mind be like, I already know what I want. And I still do that, right? Even though I'm teaching you not to do that, I still do it. So in just the last 2 months, the various coaching facility, containers that I operate in, I have gotten asked to take a look at what it is I really want multiple times. Okay, and anytime I get something coming at me multiple times, I'm like, hold the phone. Clearly, I need to put some attention on this because it's popping up everywhere, which is how I know something needs attention, is it starts popping up everywhere. So I had that opportunity again this morning to reassess what is it that I really want, right? If you removed expectations and you removed fear and you removed I'm not good enough and any other thing that blocks you in your dreaming and your use of imagination to really look at something as divinely, as purely, as cleanly as you can, to be able to go in and reassess on a continual basis is a part of the growth journey. So many of you, myself included, get stuck in thinking, I want this, right? Whether it's one thing or it's one picture, I want this, and we're so focused on it, we don't actually stop to reassess to be able to see, has that changed? Because here's the thing, every time you grow, right? Especially when you have a massive growth, which I do on a regular basis, this massive growth, right? So every time you do this massive growth, you become like a new version of yourself, a more expanded version of you, a more natural version, authentic version of you. And so with every iteration, it actually requires you to go back in and look and reassess the vision, reassess the desire, because chances are it has shifted the same as you have shifted, right? It just makes logical sense when you really break it down. It's like, oh, yeah, that's true. If I've shifted, expanded, grown, right, then probably my vision, my dream, my desire, my ideal has also shifted. And what we're looking for is to get even more authentic, remove fear, shame, and all the things that hinder you, get more authentic with what it is you truly desire. Getting down to the root of what it really is that you truly desire. So those are the 2 things I wanted to leave with you, offer to you this morning. Is 1, really zoning in on the blocks and removing the blocks as your path to having exactly what you want. 2, to reassess what is it that you think you desire. Reassess it, especially every time you have massive growth And really, you could just do it on like a quarterly basis. I think doing it on a quarterly basis is absolutely like beautiful, because then you just have it like built in as an internal system to be able to double check it, right? Assuming you're growing, because we are growing. Some of us very slow and some of us more speedily. So those are the two things I have to offer you this morning. Thanks for joining me as always. And this is the work I do with people, right? Both of these pieces are integral and the core of what I do, which is helping people remove those blocks, ultimately to be able to get exactly what they want. And we continuously hone in on the vision of what you want, because so many people don't really know what they want because they don't believe that they can have it. And so I come in and help people really look at what they really want and actually bring it into focus such that they believe at 100% that this is possible for them in every way, right? Because that actually is a block, is believing you can't have it. That is a block. So it's that continual process of removing more blocks to be able to actually see that this is possible, and then ultimately to bring it to where this is your reality. All right, you guys, for those of you interested, as I know all of you are, we're all interested, right? It's just a matter of like pulling the trigger. It's probably not a good analogy to use anymore in public forums, so I apologize for that. It's one of those that I grew up with. But most of us are just like waiting for the right moment to actually like step in at a new level to doing this kind of work. And so I just want to offer that to you this morning. If you don't have what you want, amp up the work that you're doing to remove the blocks and hone the vision so that you can have what you want. If you don't have it, then you're not there yet. And more work is available to get done so that you can have it. All right, you guys, I'm back to doing my own work, and I will see you next Sunday morning. If not before, between now and when I get to see you next, go do that thing you really want to be doing today. And I'll talk to you soon.